He has lowered his expectation. He just says, try. Just come to me. If you try, I'll accept it from you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's why we have many du'as. Where what do we say when we turn to Allah? Ya man yaqbalu al-yasir wa ya'fu al-kathir. Oh, the one who accepts what is very little, and He forgives the great sins. Similarly, Allah is all-knowing, all-powerful, and He doesn't need you. What are you going to do that is going to please Him? Have you ever thought of it that way? So on the one hand, Allah is very difficult to please. But on the other hand, He's very easy to please. Why is Allah easy to please? It's because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has lowered His expectation. Allah, He's easy to please. Why? Because He has lowered His expectation for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not expecting you to worship Him like Rasulullah. Allah is not expecting that from you. Allah is not expecting the sisters to be like Fatima to Zahra. Allah is not expecting that from you. What Allah wants from you is to do what is within your capacity. And in fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so merciful that even when you don't do your best, He still accepts it from you if you just make a little bit of an effort. You know, it's very similar to, the analogy of parents and their children. You know, when you have a little child at home and you want to make them feel like they're contributing, that they're important. So you tell them, Baba, go draw me a house. And this 2-year-old, this 3-year-old goes and draws a house. It looks like a pigeon, the scribbling, but they give it to you and says, Baba, I draw a house for you. What do? It doesn't look anything like a house. Of course, you don't say that to the kid, right? But what do you do as the parent? Because they made that effort, even though it's not even close, you put it on the refrigerator and you say, beautiful, excellent. You praise them. Why? Because they tried. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like that with us. Allah doesn't expect you to draw the perfect house. He has lowered His expectation. He just says, try. Just come to me. If you try, I'll accept it from you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's why we have many du'as. Where what do we say when we turn to Allah? Ya man yaqbalu al-yasir wa ya'fu al-kathir. Oh, the one who accepts what is very little, and He forgives the great sins. We've committed major offenses. Allah says, I'll overlook it. I'll accept the little things this salah that you stand up for, you wake up at the time of Fajr, you're half asleep, you're not even paying attention to what you're saying, but you're doing your best. Allah says, I'll accept it from you. Ya man yaqbalu al-yasir. So Allah, on the one hand, He's difficult to please because He's all-knowing, all-powerful, independent, but He's very easy to please because He has lowered His expectations. That's why in Dua Kumail, Amirul Mu'mineen, what does he teach us? Ya Sari' al-Ridha. Oh, the one who is quickly pleased. Ya Sari' al-Ridha. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not only has He lowered His expectation so we can attain His pleasure, but He is always looking for excuses to be pleased with us. So not only has He lowered the bar, He is always trying to give us loopholes to get close to him. That this is a shortcut for you. Here's another shortcut for you. There's a beautiful hadith from Imam al-Sadiq salawatullahi alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Imam al-Sadiq, he says, إِذَا مَاتَ الْمُؤْمِنُ, when the believer dies, and all of us one day, we're going to leave this world. إِذَا مَاتَ الْمُؤْمِنُ فَحَضَرَ جَنَازَتَهُ أَرْبَعُونَ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. If you die, and 40 believers attend your funeral, وقالوا اللهم إنا لا نعلم منه إلا خيرا وأنت أعلم به منا. If 40 mu'mineen come to your funeral, and when they're doing Salatul Mayyit, they make the dua, oh Allah, we don't know anything but goodness about this person. If 40 people, 40 mu'mineen, they testify that this is a good person, that we're pleased with him. The hadith says, Allah says, قَبِلْتُ شَهَادَتَكُمْ, that I accept your testimony that he is a good person. وَغَفَرْتُ لَهُ مَا لَمْ تَعْلَمُوهُ وَعَلِمْتُ, and I will forgive him the sins that you don't know about. Allah says, just because 40 mu'mineen say that we're pleased with him, that he's good, Allah says, I'll ignore the sins. And in honor of those 40 believers, I'll pardon him. Rasulullah, he says, Man sarra mu'minan, whoever makes a mu'min happy. You know, sometimes we think, if you want God to be pleased with you, you have to take out the Quran and read a long surah, or you have to, do all of these extra prayers. Sometimes, just being nice to someone, making a mu'min happy. Someone is having a bad day, you sit with them, you make a joke, you make them laugh, you make them happy, you get them a gift, you take them out for coffee, you do something very small, you make them happy. Man sarra mu'minan. Rasulullah says, whoever makes a mu'min happy, faqad sarrani, you have made me happy. And then the Prophet says, وَمَنْ سَرَّنِي فَقَدْ سَرَّ اللَّهِ, and whoever makes me happy, makes Allah happy. So think about how to make people happy around you. You will earn the pleasure of Allah. So you see how we have a hadith where Allah says, if you make this person happy, if you make 40 believers happy, if they're pleased with you and they testify to your goodness, I'll forgive them. If you make one mu'min happy, Allah says, if you make them happy, I'll be happy.